Devourer dropped on the beta, and let me tell you, it is actually way more fun than I thought it was going to be. Look at this. You just get a huge spirit bomb every single time. You get all of these different abilities you can cast while moving. We get huge scythe attacks now, so everything that we do is basically a pre-movement ability. We have three. You could spec into something where you have three separate dashes. You can use your vengeful retreat still. I mean, this spec right now visually is great. The only thing that's a problem with it is a little bit of outside of meta. You kind of only cast consume. So let's break down a couple of the interactions and the initial talent setup that we're going with here and try to give you an idea of what you want to be running. If you try to beta, this is actually one of the most fun base specs I've ever seen. So if this is going to be the base, I think they have a good starting point, and I'm quite excited about it. The other thing I have to note is, I mean, this stuff is such far range. We really have a good range now, so I wouldn't be too worried about it, especially if you go into the shift talents, where we can just kind of be anywhere. There's a... Really, our positional requirement is non-existent. We are fully a caster now. Even our ability we can cast while moving. So I wouldn't be too concerned about this. This is going to be a very fun spec to play. The initial talent setup that we're going with here is Annihilator. This is going to be focusing on our... Where's our Collapsing Star? So our Collapsing Star in our meta is going to be how we're going to get our... basically our maximum damage. Before we go into a pack, we want to be really pooling up some of our souls here. So if we have 2 souls beforehand, I drop my I-beam, and then I go into my meta directly after it, cast Collapsing Star, bring in all of my orbs from the ground. I can devour, use my I-beam, and by the time that these ones get picked up, I can now use my Collapsing Star again. So that is going to be your main rotation, is trying to reset your Collapsing Star. Your Void Ray is going to keep you in your meta, and then you are going to use your Enhanced Reaps to pick up a lot of the orbs. But let's say there's one orb, you don't have an Enhanced Reap, you can kind of just dash to it, pick it up, and that might give you your last one for Void Metamorphosis. One of the problems with Void Metamorphosis, if you start casting your Annihilation or your soul bomb, it will just fully cancel it and you can't get it back. So I'm hoping that they put something in there, some form of a penalty. I mean, it can't just go back down to 0. It is the most unforgiving thing I've ever touched. The long cast, and it just completely goes away. You get absolutely no value out of it, and it doesn't feel that great. I think that is going to have to change. I think they will change it. We'll see what they end up doing for it, but casting your ult in meta, you cannot move. You have to plant still. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The next other things I want to talk about, you don't have your Nether Walk anymore for this build. Our Void Blade, there's a couple different talents that we can take. I haven't really tested the whole hunt side here, but the theory is if you take your Void Blade, your Hunt, all of these talents here, when you use your Void Blade and Hunt, they'll turn into Hungering Slashes, and then you can kind of buff all of those, and then obviously you'll have your Hunt button. So you'll get a couple new abilities basically if you run these talents. The other one that we're running that's more of a passive as well is going to be Soul Immolation and then Spontaneous Immolation. So will actually, this basically replaces your Immolation Aura, so you don't have it anymore. That ability is gone as well, so there's a lot less abilities that you have, and you're basically just pooling your souls on the ground trying to get to your next either Void Ray to get more souls. Your Void Ray is going to be one of the best options when getting right before your meta. You're going to use your Void Ray. As soon as you meta, you're going to be able to use another Void Ray after your Annihilation, and that's how you're going to get a lot of those Collapsing Stars into that window. So one of our other types of builds that you can try is you'd probably take out your whole Eradicate side, and I'm not sure why that's not letting me do that right now. So you hold, and we would probably take out this whole side. I'd gain Hungering Slash, and I would most likely need to have Void Blade doing more damage because it's going to be part of the main rotation now. And then after this, I'm not really sure. We would have to take our Void Rush, our Hunt, and what we would get rid of for that, I am not sure of right now. So this Hunt build, I have not fully tested. I think that we could make something cool with it, but for right now, our main takeaway is using our Eradicates after our Void Rays. Those are going to pick up our souls on the ground. Our main goal is to use an I-Beam, which is Void Ray, before going into our Void Metamorphosis. Spam Collapsing Stars as soon as you go into your Void Metamorphosis. Then we're going to use our Enhanced Scythe. As soon as we use our Enhanced Scythe, then we would go back into our Void Ray and then use our Reap one more time. We would get all of our souls back to recast to another, get our next Collapsing Star. If you have a lot of haste, you could pretty much get 4 Collapsing Stars fairly easily. 3 Collapsing Stars is most likely where you're going to want to be. You're going to want to make sure you're pulling a little bit of souls before going into it. The main goal is just making sure you're getting those extra Collapsing Stars in this window. If you're not hitting that 3rd Collapsing Star, it's essentially, it is a very big waste because it just goes away. You really need to make sure that we're hitting those windows. I'll have a full guide video for both specs, but this is going to be the initial review, and so far it feels pretty good. I've done 1 dungeon as it. Being able to move around and just kind of free cast with absolutely no issues, honestly, just does feel very good. The visuals are great. I'm kind of not understanding why we have the options for Void Blade if it doesn't even give us a soul. Maybe if it just gave us 1 orb or something, it really feels like this is such a waste. So it's possible you just don't take the talent, but I'm not really sure if there's anything worth taking over it, because I guess it is technically a movement ability. This, I'm not sure if really works if you're just not taking any of the talents, but obviously if you take all of your talents, that would give it an extra ability after. It seems like it could be pretty cool, so I'll play around with that to try and give you guys an idea. But this is the initial overview.